Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Marketer's Blueprint podcast. I, of course, am your host, Nathan Gibson, and as always, I have with me Mr. Gabe Arnold. Gabe, how's your week been?
It's going great. The year's ramping up and lots of great projects coming in, so I'm excited.
Yeah, as of recording this, we're wrapping up January. It's actually January 31st as of recording this episode. So January has been a really, really great month for us. We hope all of you have had a really, really good start to your 2025. And we're going to get right into today's episode with a question. Gabe, this is going to be kind of random, but do you ever think about how often you actually use your phone?
I do sometimes look at my stats on my iPhone and it tells me how many times I pick it up, but it's not a good number. So yes, I
Exactly, right? It's always more than you think, right? We're basically attached to these things for better or for worse. Just for an example today, I wanted to bring up an example of how much we use our phones to search for things. We've talked about this on the episode before. Just today, a couple of my searches are for a card game set that I've been playing because I bought some products yesterday, NFL games, we have the Super Bowl coming up, and a few others that are just, things that I've looked up really recently. And so it got me thinking, how often do we use our phones? And so I wanted to record an episode today about how that plays into PPC, pay-per-click. Because how often we choose to use our phones makes local PPC, pay-per-click advertising, again, a huge asset for your business's lead generation, sales, and ultimately profits. I wanted to make sure to tie that into business because we speak to a lot of business owners. Why is that? I beg the question, why? So what it is local PPC puts your business right in front of those you're searching for. Right time, right place, right message. All three very, very important things. So in this edition of today's episode, we're going to be sharing some valuable tips on how to create a successful local PPC campaign that will drive more walk-ins and calls to your business, how you can really tie in those searches to your business. But first, before we dive in, Gabe, how about a marketing minute? How about we put 60 seconds on the clock and we get a solid tip from the master himself? So I'll get about a minute going here and share what you have to say to the world today.
All right. I like being put on the spot, and
Yes.
I gotta think of what direction to go today. But I guess the first thing that comes to mind is marketing is not always easy to attribute to the original channel or advertising that you're running. And in the ideal, you can track a lot of things in marketing, and we track a lot of things very accurately and very extensively. But marketing as a whole is also about building your brand and your trust in front of the audience you want to serve, your local, the local people that you want to advertise to. And so it's important to balance your focus on, I can track these clicks in PPC, I can see what people are clicking through to my landing page, but it's also important to be tracking how much reach you have, how many impressions you had from SEO, from PPC, from all sorts of different things, because those are the little micro touches that you make with your audience that are ultimately building up more trust and credibility, so that when they do have a need and you run a pay-per-click ad campaign, they already know who you are and they trust to click that ad and click through and learn more about what you offer.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and that's such a good tie-in to what we have to teach and offer today. So thank you again for the marketing minute. I know that we've gotten some feedback on that, and people are really enjoying that. So I appreciate you being a good sport about being put on the spot. And hey, he does it to me too, folks. Let's just be honest here. So, but yeah, so let's dive into it. What is local PPC? So from my experience, local PPC is a type of online advertising that allows businesses to target potential customers in a specific geographic area. When someone searches for a product or service in your area, your ad could appear at the top of the search results page, which is always what you want. You want to be as high up as you possibly can, so that way you get the max amount of visibility. This is a great way to get your business to be seen by potential customers and also drive them to your website or call your business, right? It helps get them to make that next step.
Yeah, what's great about local PPC, and we've done this for, home services companies, we've done this for, retail places, we've done this for all sorts of different clients over the years that have a physical presence, either of a brick and mortar location or they're out in the community, servicing their customers, is you have the ability to have higher levels of concentration with comparatively a smaller budget. So the advantage of local, pay-per-click versus when you're running national is that you can take a smaller budget and heavily concentrate your brand, your ad, your presence all around your target market. And that's really important because we were just on a call earlier this week, Nathan and I, where we're talking to a prospect who delivers amazing work. They're in the home services space. They deliver amazing work. They get great results, but they've scaled pretty significantly. But to get to the next level of growth that they want to achieve, they have to make sure that they have really effective local advertising, local PPC. And that's because in their space, the service that they offer to the homeowners, the decision-making process is actually interestingly like short and long. And what I mean by that is when their customers have actually made the mental decision to switch to a new, provider for their home, they end up making that decision kind of mid-year in the summer typically. And they're like, I'm tired of this other vendor or company that's been doing this at my house. I'm going to switch. So they make that decision, but then they don't act on it typically for another 3 to 6 months. And if you want to be the company that shows up when they're ready to click your ad, you have to be able to show up early with great branding, with other forms of, pay-per-click with, brand campaigns, brand awareness, so that then your targeted direct call to action ads are noticed and trusted because they've already seen your name in their, on Facebook PPC, Google PPC. There's all sorts of different channels based on the market that you're in that you can run. It's building up, both ends of that awareness and trust and credibility so that when they're like, I already decided last summer that I'm going to do this, but I'm going to take action on that decision, that you are the one that they already know and trust. They search again, they go, oh yeah, I've seen company X, a bunch of times. I'll totally check out their site. So that's what's really key. And you definitely have that ability to saturate and be more aggressive and in a sense get more for your ad dollars when you really target that geolocation that you want to serve.
Yeah, and that's a great point that I actually want to kind of drive home a little bit with a couple of tactics and resources that you can use to better nail down your targeting, which are location targeting, as you were talking about, and also geofencing. So geofencing, for those who don't know, is a tool that defines a specific geographic radius around your business and shows ads only to people in that zone. So what that does is exactly what Gabe just elaborated on, and that's help you save ad spend because you're targeting a very specific group of people who are close to you location-wise. And then a pro tip that I have is what you can do is you can experiment with that, right? With that geofencing. You can experiment with different radius sizes to find the sweet spot that maximizes your reach and your budget, right? You can really hyper target a specific area and even do testing with it to find that ideal location size, right?
Yeah, what's awesome is not only, like you said, Nathan, it's important to target where you service. So say you're a landscaping company and you service 50-mile radius around your location potentially. Mm-hmm. You of course want to cover that with geofencing. But when we work with our customers and build what we call our customer-centric marketing foundation, we do a lot of research on your own customer base, and this applies to all of our clients, but especially in this space and strategy. Oh yeah. If we know that you're servicing this community and area, but a lot of maybe you serve a higher end market and a lot of those people work another place. Like I've had clients over the years that end up the Cleveland Clinic is near where I live, and I've had clients who end up working for a bunch of doctors at the Cleveland Clinic. So you could geofence around the Cleveland Clinic with your ads, even though that's not the actual service area of where you go, mow their lawns or do their plumbing work. So you could geofence there because you've done your market research and a large concentration of people work in that area, and geofence your service area. So it gives you a really advantageous ability to be able to target where they work and play and where they live. And that comes out of effective market research that all of our clients get.
Exactly, yeah. And the more you know about your target audience, the better. And that can tie into that geofencing, knowing the areas that they spend their time. Even if it's not right next to your business, you could have a high concentration of people, maybe a couple miles out, or maybe even more than that. And then you can still target in that area. It's really grown and evolved over the years. So it's definitely a tool that we've helped almost all of our clients use that do any kind of advertising in a specific space, especially for people who have, like we talked about, brick and mortar locations, or they do services in a certain area. Geofencing is a very, very powerful tool. And another powerful tool that I wanted to talk about is the extension advantage. So what is that? So what it is location extensions on your advertisements. What they do is they allow your business, they allow you to display your business address and your phone number directly within your advertisement on Google. This adds credibility by showing your customers that your business has a physical location, like we spoke about, and it also makes it easier to locate you. We talk about on this show all the time making it as easy as possible for people to go through your funnels, to find your services, to get a hold of you. The easier, the better. We've had a ton of success with this specific tool in the gym space. We have a very relevant client that we're working with right now, and many in past years too, that have a gym or a physical training business or something local like that. So businesses like that really thrive when you're able to really present yourself professionally and have all the information right there and available. Another pro tip that I have for that is you can use call tracking as well to measure the effectiveness of your call extensions and identify valuable leads. So the more you can also get really in-depth data with these extensions, right?
Yeah. That's like I was speaking earlier. There's some aspects of your marketing that you're not going to be able to attribute directly. But what's nice with local service ads and local, PPC and geofencing and targeting is when you can add in these tracking numbers and you can know exactly that this ad with this phone number was called. And that's the other great thing about local PPC is you can make click to call ads. And so you don't have to have somebody fill out a form. They're just going to get right on having a live conversation with you, which is something that based on your business, it's often something that we recommend to our clients because if you can start building that relationship, have a live conversation at the start, you have a much higher opportunity of being able to serve them and bring them in as a customer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Building your credibility and being reliable is huge, especially in those niches that we're speaking about today. Of course, that can translate into almost every niche and industry, right? But there's certain ones that you should really be focusing on that. And so I think that's a great tip. Another tip that I have, and we really drive this home, I swear almost every week, but it's so relevant, and that's mobile optimization, especially when you're doing PPC or other advertisements. So the majority of local searches, as we've spoke about before, are conducted on mobile devices. So your local PPC ads really have to be optimized for mobile. It's not even optional, I would say. You have to have them optimized for mobile. We help almost all of our clients do this because we know how huge it is for them. And also, pro tip, don't forget about your other campaign assets, guys. Like I said, mobile optimization is huge. So don't just make it to your PPC and advertisements. Make everything that you have mobile friendly because everybody's on their phones. We just talked about it earlier. So is there any other tips that you have for mobile optimization as it relates to PPC?
Yeah, definitely make your primary design and layout of your funnels and your ads and everything built for mobile, and desktop should be secondary. And that's something that sometimes gets missed because when you are building ads and creative and campaigns, or depending on who you're working with in your marketing right now, they're going to build that stuff on a desktop, on a laptop. That makes sense. But the first testing point should always be mobile because when we're searching, I need a plumber, I pick up my phone and Google search for that, or anything like that. We originate most of our search on mobile now. It's at minimum 60% of search across all industries, but in local service, companies and things where people are searching local, what I've seen recently is it's at least 80-85% of search starts there. So mobile is absolutely key, not only from the way it is laid out and looks and is easy to use and read on a phone and click to call, but also from the standpoint of making sure that it loads very quickly, because if I'm, leaving my house and my Wi-Fi drops and I get switched to cellular, or I'm in not great signal area, or there's all these dynamics of, using mobile data. You want your landing pages and ads and everything to be the most optimized. So they're small file sizes, they're light, they load very quickly. Because if you get past 3 seconds load time, then people are going to click away. I mean, we're always targeting a 1 second, load time, and there's some margin of flexibility there, but you can't have things that take too long to load because people will think your site is incredible and they'll click away and they'll never even see your offer.
Yeah, and think about it, guys. Like, I want you to actually take a second and think, when was the last time, because we've all had it happen, maybe in years past more than now, because a lot of people understand this optimization, but think about on your phone or on your desktop, when's the last time you went to a website searching up a service or looking to buy a product, and it didn't load right away? I'm with Gabe, honestly. If it's 3 seconds, maybe I'll give it a couple more, But in that 3 seconds, the human brain is very, very fast, especially in this day and age. So you're thinking a ton of things at once. Why isn't it loading? Is it credible? Is this worth my time? Move on. That's literally step by step what my brain would say. Because with how saturated the internet is, that there are a ton of other options out there, right? You can literally hit the back button, go to Google, and find something that loads within a second. Then that business is capturing your attention better than the previous business. Don't be the previous business. We help a ton of our clients not only optimize their websites and their funnels for desktop, but also mobile. Because like Gabe said, over 60% of people do almost all their searching on mobile. Like I said earlier, I'm always searching stuff on my phone. Always. So mobile optimization is definitely not to be missed, folks. And with that being said, going back to PPC, pay-per-click advertising can be hard to get right. If anybody understands it, it's us. Especially if you've never done it before. It's a really, really deep and wide skill set that you need to be able to really optimize your PPC funnels. So if you want to ensure that you're targeting the right audience with, importantly, the right message, we have world-class PPC experts that have gotten incredible results for not only our clients, but for us as well. We're super grateful for them. So if you guys need any help with understanding how PPC works or need some PPC work done for your business, let us know. I would be more than happy to have a conversation and share some examples of some of the work we've done before and really, help you achieve those goals that you have for 2025. And speaking of, Gabe, it wouldn't be an episode of the Marketer's Blueprint podcast if we don't talk about our wins for today. Which I'm really excited for because our win this week is boosting website traffic. It ties into, where PPC leads people, and that's to traffic to their website. So we help one of our amazing clients, ironically called Amazing Botanicals, significantly increase their website traffic by revamping their lead magnet. And why is that important, right? Why is that important? That's because if you don't have a solid lead magnet, people aren't going to be interested in what you do. Right, Gabe? I mean, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, ultimately, you have to understand through your market research and through your testing, figure out what is the most attractive entry point. And there's a lot of things specifically with what Amazing Botanical does. They offer an amazing product, but it's not everybody knows about it. And so they start by educating their prospective customer on here's the amazing products we offer. Here's how things work. This is what you should be aware of. And by educating their prospects up front, they build that relationship and trust. And it's a little bit longer of a buying cycle because there's education, there's trust. They offer powerful, amazing products. But again, they're not something that you necessarily would have heard about, popularly everywhere. But we're able to help them educate new prospects, get them on their email list, build that relationship, and then when their customers come on board, they have amazing lifetime value because the product solves exactly what they're looking to, handle in their life.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the power of a lead magnet is. When you have a really, really high value, high leveraged lead magnet, and they feel like they're getting something that's worthwhile, they're almost infinitely more likely to go through your funnel, to go through and check out your website, your landing pages, maybe get put on your email list, and ultimately buy your products. So that begs the question that I'd like to answer. How did we do it? How did the team do it?
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so as we always talk about, and when it's, it may sound like a broken record, but it really is the key and the truth, is that we started with that market research and we talked to their customers and we surveyed them and understood what was important to them. And from that is how we created a really valuable lead magnet. And I wanted to jump in because a lead magnet should be so valuable and actionable that people would be willing to pay for it, but you give it away for free.
Exactly.
And so we got people we understood what they were searching for, what their needs were, and created ads that resonated and said, that's me, I want to learn about that. They click through on the landing page, they download this guide and understand how they can, buy Amazing Botanicals, products, and then they're on their email list. And, ultimately that's how they grow traffic, not just from PPC, but now they have a warm prospect that's interested in them on their email list. And that's a more intimate relationship with a prospect, and you drive traffic through email because you made that investment on the pay-per-click end. So we've seen amazing results, and they are growing really well right now.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. I'd like to elaborate more on is like you mentioned, we mentioned before on the podcast the value of a customer, right? When you're giving away a tremendous asset in a lead magnet that could be paid for, you're not only satisfying that person, you're building trust with them, and you're also increasing their lifetime value as a customer because they are more likely to stick around with you because they've already been impressed with your free deliverable. Then let's say you sell an amazing product that you're really proud of and you stand behind, then they buy that product and then they're satisfied with it and then it repeats. And then they're buying that product on a consistent basis, especially if you have one that's like supplemental or something like that that people want to take month over month, year over year. You didn't just secure yourself that one sale. You secured yourself a lifetime of sales, hopefully. And that is through creating really, really good funnels that start with good PPC. So, and that's really it, folks. That's what I have for you today. The power of PPC is really, really incredible. It can help people drive you to help drive people to your websites through your lead funnels, through fantastic lead magnets that you can give away, which we can help out with. But with that being said, it's always a pleasure to be here with you, Gabe. I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode. I hope you learned something, and we will see you guys next time.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.